show. Wednesday nights. And here we go. It's the rule of three with the touch of Basco. And like the Joker says, and here we go. It's Wednesday night and it's 9 o'clock. Click on the thumbnail, it's about to get hot. We get 3 different questions in only 3 minutes. It ain't for the scared, it ain't for the timid. Some will like us and some just don't. A lot will back us and some just won't. It don't matter with the Khaos crew. We specialize in making things do what they do. So sit back, chill, and enjoy the show with me, Chris Gaiskar, and Unzo.
Fire, peace, 9 o'clock, Wednesday nights. Don't miss it. Check us out.
Is there any stuff? What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight. This is the Rule of Three on Chaos Central. We got Anzo here, of course, and Danny should be on his way shortly. Gaiskar, busy week, I guess. Anniversary, birthdays, all that stuff. So he's not going to be here tonight. So it will be the original 3. Orville, good to see you in the chat. Thank you very much for coming. But we'll just do things as normal. I'll let you go ahead and pimp yourself out and let everybody know about yourself and where they can find you.
That's right, guys. You know where to find me. Biggaford Entertainment, Rule of Three with a side of T Basco, Chaos List, Chaos Conversation, OOC, Game Changers, all that good shit, you know. Do appreciate everybody that's coming in to support, and I can't wait to get this show started today.
All right. So we've got 12 topics on a wheel. We'll get 3 topics, and look at that. That was pretty close. So let's just do this then. Since he's here, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, Danny?
I am Danny, aka Common Chat, 1/4 of the Chaos Central crew. Trying to come in here, doing my other job. Was able to get here just in time.
Awesome.
Ready for the show.
Cutting it close, though, bro. You're cutting it close, man.
Bro. Hey. That's
all
chest,
right.
Bro.
That's all right. So 3 topics off of 12, and they could be sports, pop culture, or current events. So, hey, Mads, what's going on? we are short 1, but we're not short now that Danny's here. Not as short, I should say. So let's just do this. Let's get right to it. We're going to share a screen. We're going to get this wheel up right here and make sure I'm sharing the sound and everything. Make sure it's not too loud so I don't blow anybody's ears out. And here we go. Oh, here we go.
Motherfucker. I thought I avoided this question last week. I got to deal with it this week.
You know, Lakers versus Celtics, Yankees versus Red Sox, Boston Bruins versus the Detroit Red Wings, Prometheus versus the world. These are some of the greatest sports rivalries and not so inside joke. What is your opinion as to what is the greatest sports rivalry today? What do you think the greatest sports rivalry today is? And in the chat. And who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
I'll go first. You got 3 minutes on the board, and your time, Danny, starts now.
As it relates to the NBA, I really don't think there is a rivalry anymore because the players have gotten so friendly and now they're chasing rings. I think more the rivalry is in the football world. And one of the biggest rivalries that come to my mind is like the Steelers versus the Cowboys or Steelers versus the Browns now. I think everybody is trying to get a piece of Brady. I think last year may have created maybe Tampa Bay versus Kansas City. I see more of the rivalries in the football in the NFL more so than any other sport. I don't follow baseball, so I couldn't tell you the first rivalry to save my life. Since Prometheus is not officially off the ground, then it's really not a rivalry. But once it comes into play, if that ever happens, then I'm sure it'll be a contender. But if I had to be really truthful and brutally honest, I think NFL has the most rivalries. I love the NBA. I love the basketball. There really any rivalries. When I first fell in love with basketball, it was the Lakers versus Celtics. Um, I've seen interviews where um, it was like black versus white. I hate to say it like that, but that's basically what it was. If you listen to Bird and Magic, I forgot the name of the documentary they were on, but Magic said he went to Boston and there were black janitors working in the stadium and fans. They were like, "Man, I'm pulling for you." And he was like, "What? You from Boston?" He said, "Man, why would I ever pull for those white boys?" I mean, that's what he said. It's not nothing that I'm saying, but if you watch the Bird and Magic documentary, that is what was said. So now I don't think the race is that much of a big part of it, but at the end it really was. I know that Bird and Magic hate each other. They did not become friends until after Magic contracted the HIV virus, and then that's when Bird reached out to him, and they really had mutual respect for each other. But they just couldn't be buddies like they are now today. The basketball players now today. He's still on this side of the line. He's still on that side of the line. So, having said all that, really don't see that rivalry in basketball anymore. I'm thinking that football is king, and if anything, it's Dallas versus the world because Dallas Cowboy fans are the worst. I mean, I don't really hate the team. I hate them damn fans because they're on such a delusional high and trip that it just makes it so sickening. So if I had to say Dallas versus the world, the whole NFL world, Brady versus Mahomes, Pittsburgh versus the Browns, those are the ones I can think off the top of my head. Lakers versus Broncos. I'm not Lakers, but Raiders versus Broncos. That's another one. So NFL has it for me.
You ready? Um, I definitely there's no rivalries, not in any sport. So I'm sorry, Dan. I'd have to disagree with you on the football aspect as well. Because when you think of rivalries, it's two good teams fighting against each other, where they're one's winning one year, one's winning the next year. The players on each teams hate each other like crazy. At this point now, there's especially in the NBA, everybody's friends, and if they're not friends, they're all playing on the same team. So you only have a few good teams, and then the rest of them are just stepping stones. You know what I mean? Teams in the way. So you got Lakers, you got the Nets right now, and the rest of the teams are stepping stones. You got Denver, you got the Jazz, you got Golden State. Those are all stepping stones. At the end of the day, it's going to be Lakers and Nets, right? But now, if you want to talk about player rivalries, there are a few. LeBron and KD, I believe they have a little bit of rivalry on who wants to be the best. When it comes to football, though, again, these teams they don't they don't play each other as much. Cleveland and Pittsburgh had a rivalry back in the day, but now it's like, Cleveland's been bad so for so long, the rivalry just doesn't add up. And it's when two good teams are fighting against each other constantly every year in the playoffs, like Lakers and Spurs, that was a rivalry. Pistons and Bulls, that was a rivalry. You know what I mean? We just don't see that shit anymore today. Everybody's friends. It's and not only just friends, but you can't do some of the things that you used to be able to do, right? Especially in football. You used to score a touchdown, man. You get in that end zone and you, like Chad Ochocinco used to do, pull out a pen, sign the ball, moon the crowd, like Owen, goddamn Terrell Owens used to do. You know, it's
Randy
you can't do.
Moss.
Right, it was Randy Moss. Okay, my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, you can't do that shit anymore. Like, those are the things that make players hate another player, and then because of the team they're on, there's like, okay, I'm gonna whoop this team's ass the next time. So they've taken a lot of that away from football, and I think that's like a big issue for me. They probably got the celebrating back a little bit, but it's just not the same. um I wish there were more rivalries in these sports. It makes it more entertaining. But Maz Mama Bear actually said Toronto and Montreal in hockey. Yes, 100%. Absolutely 100%. That's a rivalry. It's always been a rivalry. It'll always be a rivalry because we're both Canadian. We're close to each other. Toronto's never won a Stanley Cup. Montreal's like 25 of them. So it's a big rivalry there. But at the same time, Montreal hasn't been good for a while. Toronto hasn't been good for a while. So I don't know how deep that rivalry really is anymore, especially since I don't watch hockey. So you are muted, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was typing and stuff. I didn't want to bother anybody. I think honestly, it's probably, there's still the classic rivalries, New York, Boston, but it's not what it was. And I think we've mentioned this before. You guys just mentioned it. When you're a friend or get along, even if you're not buddy, but hey man, how you doing? That was a good game. It's weird to say it, but there's something about not liking a team, not liking a person. And Bird didn't like Johnson, but it wasn't because he was black. It's just because he was a Laker and he was a Celtic. And so when you get into that type of rivalry, that's pure hatred. And I've discussed it before that there's people who play baseball, who play football, that when they talk in interviews today about a team, they still hate that team. They still hate those players. It's not like after everything was said and done, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I can put that aside. No, they still hate those people. They talk about how dirty a player they were. They talk about, they're cheaters because they did this or this. And so, I think that it's really difficult. I'd say hockey probably more than any of them right now, because hell, they still allow fighting. I mean, I don't think you can, punch the hell out of somebody and then after the game go up to them and say, hey, that was a good game. I think they want to kill you. I think they want to punch you right back. And if you go up to them after a game, I'm pretty sure they're going to want to do the same thing, be it on the ice or not on the ice. So I think things like the Red Wings and the Bruins and stuff like that are still really big rivalries. Football definitely has them, but I just don't think it's the same way. I mean, it used to be Kansas City Chiefs and Raiders, or Kansas City Chiefs and Broncos, or vice versa. The AFC West was notorious for just absolutely hating each other. And nowadays, it's not as bad. It's like, there's Raiders week for us. Sure, the Broncos do the same, but Broncos week, we used to say Broncos week. We don't say that anymore because it's just not that big of a deal. Maybe because they suck. I don't know. But, I knew the Raiders hated it. You could go to Oakland back in the day in the Coliseum, and if you were a Chiefs fan, you didn't wear Chiefs gear because they were going to come after you. The fans were going to come after you. And you just don't get that anymore. So great rivalries. Probably, I'd say mostly in hockey. I think just because now that they still allow fighting, so how can you be buddy with somebody if you just kick their ass? So, football. Danny, you said football.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Danny's muted. I think he might have got a phone call or something. But you're absolutely correct. Back in the day, man, it was like, when Raiders were going up against the Broncos, that was a big ticket game. You know what I mean? That was a must-see game. But it's because both teams were good. It's when you have one team that has been good for so long, that kind of kills the rivalry, when the team's just beating up on the same team. At least maybe for the fans, maybe not for the players, right? If you get tired of getting beat up by fucking Denver every fucking game every year, right? So it's probably a culture.
I think it's not publicized much, but I have friends that are like Raider fans and Broncos and New England Patriots, and when they play a certain team, man, the people where I work at, they get fired up. I
think the fans still do.
When he plays Kansas City or plays Denver, he's Raiders fan. If he loses, he is pissed off.
Oh yeah, I think that still happens for fans, but I'm not sure if that's. I don't know if that makes it a great rivalry or not.
I remember when I was watching it, it was the Dallas and the Redskins. Man, they was the biggest rivalry we've been sucky for so long. I mean, it kind of takes away some of the mystique. But
Right.
I think that if we ever get a decent coach, I don't like Ron Rivera, we could ever get a quarterback and a decent running back. I ain't asking for a top 5 offensive line. Just give me a top 10. I ain't asking for a top 10 defense. Well, I am asking for a top 10 defense, but I'll take a top 15 at this point.
Redskins are gonna be shit for years to come.
I'm telling you, man, it's depressing, bro. It's depressing.
But you know what, Donnie? To be honest with you, every team goes through this. I don't care who you are. You may have a 20-year run, but sooner or later, those stars that you have, those good players that you have, are gonna go, and you're gonna lose. You know what I mean?
We ain't been good since John Riggins. I don't know how long he been out the NFL. So I'm about ready for some new blood or something.
My question is does the rivalry the fans feel translate to the rivalry of the teams?
I don't think so.
See, I don't think so either. Again,
I think football players have become more civilized. And that's about one of the worst things you can do when you become civilized. That's what I'm
saying is that when you add, and again, this is a horrible thing to say, but when you add civility to the game, these players going out there and shaking hands, slapping each other on the butt. Hey, good game, good game. They're all out there hugging during the end of a game.
Yep, they took away a lot of hits and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but seeing all that brutality, is that worth that player's life? I mean,
no, I don't necessarily mean that brutality has to be a part of it, but you don't have to go up and say to the guy, "Hey, man, good job." You can walk by the guy, shake his hand, and look him in the eye, like, "Hey, I hate your guts. I hope you know this." I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think with hockey having fighting, that it still is a way to make it, something that it still has some rivalry left to it. The Loki series is coming out in June. Do you think that it will be the best series of the Marvel series so far?
I'll go.
Okay. 3 minutes. Go right ahead.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think it's going to be the best. I think it's probably just going to be on point with the rest of them. It's going to be good. I just, I liked WandaVision. I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier had a little bit more action than WandaVision, but WandaVision had a little bit more intrigue. So for me personally, I just think they're all going to be on the same level. I don't hate WandaVision more than I hate Falcon and Winter Soldier and vice versa. So I have a feeling that I just think that I'm going to like the Loki series too. I seen the trailers. Looks interesting. Looks good. Looks like there's going to be a lot of comedy in it too as well. That might be a little bit different and fun to watch. I don't think it's going to be bad. I'm just at this point, I really want to see the what ifs. That's what I want to see. These series for me have been, I guess you want to say, smoke and mirrors, because they make you think like, yeah, they're going to be tied into the movies. And so far, they're like really like limited the way they're tied into the movies, and I guess I understand why they're doing it that way, because they don't want to have people be like, okay, well, I have to go and watch this TV series to understand what happened in the movie, or I have to watch the movie to understand what's happening in these TV series. So they're loosely connecting it to the movies, but it's going to be its own thing. I have no issue with that. I'm excited for the Loki series. Don't get me wrong. I like Loki. I like him in the movies. I think the series is going to be pretty fire, to be honest with you. But I really don't know if it's going to be any better than Falcon or WandaVision. I mean, unless we get to see some real like heavy tie-ins to a movie, I think that's what these shows are missing, to be honest with you, is that they just don't tie into the movies. There could be something, man, anything. Not enough to say where if I don't see it, I'm not gonna understand what happens, but just like they cut out Doctor Strange in WandaVision, came on record, said WandaVision, Doctor Strange was cut out. Shouldn't have did that. They should have left him in there. And from what I'm hearing, it had nothing to do with him not being able to get there or the virus that was going on. It was just a decision that they made to cut him out, which was stupid. Well, I won't say stupid, but I just think it would have tied it more to the movies if they did that. So do I think it's going to be better than the rest? No, but I do think it's going to be just as good as the rest of them. So.
All right. Very good. Very good. Righty, Danny. 3 minutes. Go right ahead.
I agree partially with what Anzo said. I think it's going to be on par. It may be a smidge better, only because I know Tom Middleton, I think that's the name, is eye candy to a lot of women. And I think he's going to draw a more female crowd, more so than Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie. I've heard females at my job say how he's this and he's that. So he may have that effect, kind of like the Jason Momoa effect. But I don't think it's going to be actually better. But I will credit Disney because they did finally, in this instance, they did what we asked for. When Disney first came out with Disney Plus, they didn't have enough content to keep people interested. So this year, they got content. We got content out the yin yang. You got 3 Marvel shows back to back. So I think they listened to us and put more content on there, and I think they're going to continue to do that. So I'm not mad at them for that. So we got, like you said, WandaVision, which first episodes were not my favorite, and then we went over to Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I thought was fire, and I think this Loki is going to be entertaining. We got the Bad Batch going on now, and so they're giving us content. So they listened to our demands and our requests from the first year when they came out with just the Mandalorian. Then we had to wait kind of like in the desert to get more fresh, new content. So they're giving us what we want. So whether or not it's going to be better, I really don't know. If it is, I think it's just going to be a smidge. Maybe the I'm going to call it the thirsty effect some women may have. But this may tie more into the Doctor Strange 2 to any other of the other two. Well, WandaVision. So WandaVision and this may tie more into the Doctor Strange 2. I don't see how Falcon and Winter Soldier can tie into it at all. I think they kind of use it as a springboard to the new Captain America 4 movie. Used as a springboard for that. But I think WandaVision and this may tie into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I'm ready to see. So I think Kevin Feige got some kind of plan. Maybe we haven't quite seen what his plan is, but usually they tie things together. So I think with him and John Favreau, they're going to do things that make us be like, okay, we didn't see that. Or there's going to be an Easter egg or two we didn't miss, where if we go back and see it or watch it, we may see it and say, oh, okay. So that's how that ties into that. So I have faith in Mr. Feige. I think he's gonna pull through with another winner, as always.
Okay, very good, very good. Righty, let's see here. Boy, be better, or be the best. I'm with you, Anzo. After reading those articles about Doctor Strange, it's like, really, why didn't you do that? I do question how much of these will tie into the movies. I think that perhaps Loki might tie into the movies the most because it's supposed to be him going back in timelines that he's messed up. So I think we might see maybe not the actual scenes from certain movies, but I think we'll be in some of the same places during those things. Like perhaps the Battle of New York will come back up. We won't be where the Avengers are because that would cost them too much money, but they could still be like, okay, we're here. This is what you did. and nobody saw you do it, but it messed everything up and you've got to fix it or something like that. I mean, I could see that having more to do with the movies because they're jumping around in the timeline. I'm with you on Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that it's just the setup. It's getting a lot of the narrative out of the way and getting us up to speed for a movie. So it doesn't tie into a movie, probably not, but it helps set up a movie. WandaVision, I'm with you, Danny, also on the fact that maybe it's one of the many different Easter eggs there might end up tying into something that we just don't know. The way they did it, though, was very, like I said, lackadaisical, because it should have been directly something given to us that here it is. This is definitely a tie-in, or this is going to lead to this, but they didn't do that. I'm really excited though about Loki. I'm not going to say that it's going to be better than Falcon the Winter Soldier because that was a really good series. I really liked it, but it wouldn't surprise me because Tom Hiddleston is excellent in that role. Loki is his character. Loki, I know people, have their impression of what Loki is from the comic books and all that, but Tom Hiddleston has literally taken that character, and from day one that he was Loki, he has made it his character. He's been playful with it. He has been on point with it in everything I have ever seen. I would be definitely surprised if we don't get this. It's almost like why in Falcon the Winter Soldier it works so well is because the two of them play off of each other so well. Tom Hiddleston has a way of taking this character and just he becomes it. He isn't Tom Hiddleston playing Loki. He is Loki. And I think that makes it so much better when you get people like that. So it wouldn't surprise me for it to be the best, but I'm going to say it's going to be on par at least with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Three of us.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
As well as Tom Hiddleston plays Loki, let's say something happened to him and he passed unexpectedly. You want to see his Loki be replaced? Or would you let him die? Because in the MCU, he's dead. In his new show, he's in a different multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have a problem if they recast him.
I don't know. I guess, the thing about recasting, we've talked about this multiple times when it comes to Wolverine. Until you see it, until you know who they're going to cast, I don't know if you know what you're going to think about it. I mean, nobody thought Ben Affleck was going to be a good Batman. On this panel, how many people think that now?
Well, I think he's the best.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's the best necessarily. Let me rephrase that. He is the best. He's just not my favorite. Let me put it that way. I guess that's a better way of putting it. I'll be fair and say he is the best. He's just not my favorite. But it's that type of thing. Until you put somebody in there. I mean, I know Matt Damon played him for 5 seconds in a movie, but I don't think he could be Loki. Man, I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that. But I mean, he is dead in the MCU, so if he did,
yeah, they probably would do it because I don't think he's important to the MCU culture as Black Panther is. So I'm just really torn. So
well, going to Black Panther, going to Black Panther though, I think the difference is that is still relatively fresh. We only got it 1.5, 2 times completely because Civil War. He's in that. He was in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Was that it? Or yeah.
He was in Civil War. He wasn't in Captain America and Winter Soldier. He was in Civil War and Black Panther. And then Endgame, of course.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, so we haven't gotten a ton of them, and I think that's why. So when he died, it was still so fresh to us.
In Infinity War. So he was in four movies.
Yeah. Well, actually, was he in Infinity War?
Uh-huh. It was in
at the
Wakanda.
end. Yeah. That's right. Okay. But I still don't think he got as much. We've seen Loki in almost how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. like 6 or 7 movies now. So I don't know. And again, his character did die within the universe. That's a little different than how Black Panthers happened. So that's a big difference there. I'd have to hear who they casted to even think if I'd be willing to, like it or not. So, all right, last question. Seems like the black Superman is ruffling more feathers than the idea of a black Captain America. Do you think this is do you think this decision is going to make fans turn away from comic book movies?
That was my
So that one coming up, I was like, ooh.
I'll go first.
All right. Let me remove that. Let me bring up the timer. 3 minutes. Go right ahead, Danny.
This is going to sound real harsh, but I just think it's true. I think if you are really a racist person, it's probably going to turn you away from it. If you're truly not racist, then I think, and you have an open mind, you're going to go to it and see what it's all about. The word that's keep getting thrown up is tokenism. This is not tokenism, in my opinion. To me, tokenism is tomorrow morning, Kevin Feige announces he's going to replace Black Panther with a white actor. That would be tokenism. But if he says, like DC said, they're going to replace whoever and go with a black Superman route, if they go the ones that's in the comic book or the one that we have source material, then to me, that's not tokenism. That's them just exploring another avenue. Now, if they say Clark Kent and he's black, that may be a form of it. But my understanding is that Kal-El, they both have the same Kryptonian names, but his real name is what is it?
Calvin Ellis.
But
it is Clark Kent's Kal-El.
Okay, I was told it was Calvin Ellis.
No, it's Clark Kent's Calvin Ellis.
Now if he comes out and he's black Clark Kent, there's probably going to be an issue. But if the movie's fire, sometimes that can supersede or override your initial issues. So I don't know. But I know there is source material for a black Superman. Do I think Henry Cavill got the shaft? Yes. Do I think he should play the traditional Superman that we're accustomed to? Yes. But sometimes we don't get our way. Sometimes people don't do the right things. Sometimes people do things that are messed up. I hate that that he's been done that way, but I'm sure he's going to bounce back on his feet. Maybe, like we said in a earlier stream, Marvel might snap him up, and he might be Doom, or he might play whatever character that Kevin Feige or whoever says he can play. Either way, I'm cool with it. Would I prefer to see a Man of Steel 2 with him in it? Yes, but it looks like Warner Brothers ain't having it. So at the end of the day, you just got to accept some things. Zack Snyder Universe doesn't like it's going to happen. Flashpoint doesn't like it's going to happen. Batman 2 does not like it's going to happen. Man of Steel 2 doesn't like it's going to happen. So is it sad? Yes. Should they listen to us? I hope they would. But at the end of the day, do they have to listen to us? No, they don't. Because again, I'm going to say this again, it's like a broken record. If it's your property, you do what you want to do with it. So apparently they don't care. They think what they're doing is right. So until they run into that brick wall and see that it's not, we're just going to have to accept this direction they're going in now.
Okay. 3 minutes. Anzo.
Yep. Okay, so do I think it's going to make fans turn away from the comic book movies? Absolutely not. It's big business. People are going to rush to them regardless. Will this movie turn people away from this particular movie? Maybe. But to turn away from the whole genre, that's just not going to happen. Marvel has a lock on it. And, like we always say that if you slap that Marvel name on it, you're at least getting $500 million, right? So the black Superman thing is, and I'm going to quote Danny, it's fucking fake. Who cares? It's someone from a different planet. He's not a human being. He doesn't really exist in this world. He is someone that was written on a pen, with a paper and pen or pencil, whatever you want to call it. So does it matter if they make him black or not? No. As long as they stay true to who Superman is, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter his color, doesn't matter his sexual orientation, doesn't matter his fucking oh my god, Jesus Christ, whether he's male or female, doesn't matter. It does not matter as long as you stick to who Superman is. Now they do have a Supergirl, but hey, if they were to say like, you know what, we're gonna make a Supergirl movie, but we're gonna make her Kathleen Kent. Okay, so what? Like, what is the big deal with all of this stuff? You know, people just want to get all upset. No, I grew up with Superman, and he was a white dude when I grew up with him, so you got to stick to that. He has to be a white dude because he was a white dude when I grew up. Oh, well. Times fucking change. You know what I mean? No one batted an eye when they made Kingpin black. I don't remember any backlash when they made Kingpin black. I really don't. I don't remember everybody. Oh my God, I can't believe they tokenized Kingpin. They made him a black guy. Don't remember that. They made Nick Fury black in the comics. I don't ever remember hearing anybody arguing about them tokenizing Nick Fury either. It's just now with this fucking generation, it's like, or whatever it is, cancel culture, outrage culture, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that's what's happening now. Like, just go enjoy the movie. It's a fucking movie. You know what I mean? Who cares? Go, enjoy it. If you like it, good. If it's trash, then good. Either or. But at least not complain about, oh no, they made Ariel black and they made this black and they made that black and this is white and this is supposed to be this way. If it's not a real life character, then it really doesn't matter what the fuck they do with it. It's not real life. It's a fake, and I can't say it enough, it's a fake character. That's it.
Indeed. The answer is no. It won't turn. Anybody who reads comics, and again, I think Danny put it right. If you're not overtly racist, this isn't going to bother you. If you don't want to see it, you won't go see it. I don't think it's going to be this that turns you away from it. It's just, is the story good? Is it written right? Is it written well? Then I don't think it's going to turn anybody away. I think the point you made, Anzo, about Nick Fury originally being white, and then they changed it in the comic books to look like Samuel L. Jackson. Well, my thought on that was, I'm sorry. I think Samuel L. Jackson's the perfect look for Nick Fury. Mm-hmm. So there was no issues. And that leads right back. And like you said, it's all about how you write it. It's about how the person plays it. It's not about what color the person is. It's about, does this make sense inside the universe? And as long as it does that, no big deal. I'm kind of with Danny on the whole, if it is going to be Clark Kent and you're going to keep Kal-El and you're going to make it just basically race swapping, I'd hope they'd be more original. That's where I come into originality. Why? What's the point of just race swapping a character and then basically keeping the same backstory and all that? Unless they change that, and then that's going to bring up problems for some people because they don't want to see a change in a backstory. They don't want people to change it like that. So I don't think this will turn anybody away. There's been a lot of things, and we've talked about it in many streams, that is different from the MCU or the DCEU from the actual comics, and people are still going to see this. And again, you may not like some of DC's stuff, but they still have made money. They've still brought fans to them. Mm-hmm. And until you do something that absolutely just, okay, what was it? The new Warriors, that had safe space and all that stuff. If you make a movie based off of that, maybe you get people to start turn away. But it has to be something crazy like that. What's going on, Gaiskar? It's good to see you, Vile Mike. Good to see you too. Thank you guys for being here. Let's do 3 minutes. Talk about this real quick. It's always about the story, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. As long as
You
you
can
put
have
in
the
a good
best
story,
Mhm.
then nothing else should really matter. You know what I mean? It really.
I mean, you
shouldn't.
could have the best actors in the world play in a movie, and if the story isn't good, while it may not be horrible because the right actors are in it, it's still not going to be a good movie necessarily.
Mhm.
I mean, we've seen that. There's been star-studded movies out there that bomb because they're horrible movies.
Mhm.
So it all comes back to writing and respect to a character. That's why I said if you go and you race swap Superman, I got no problems with that. But if you start saying now that his mom was a single mother and that he lived in the inner city, you start changing weird shit like that. It's like, no, I don't want to see that. Stick with the character. Just give me a different perspective on it, maybe. But I don't know. What do you guys?
I'm just tired. Like people use that tokenized word so much. They're like, oh, this person's tokenized and this and that. And I'm just so sick of it because honestly, that was a white person that started that, guaranteed. And now you got black people that are sitting around saying, yeah, that's right, you're tokenizing. Hey, listen, why don't we do black characters that they already have? Well, to be honest with you, most people don't know who the fuck Steel is. And then people like to use the argument, well, no one knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was. Yeah, but Marvel had established themselves for years before they were able to do a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie, right? You got to understand that they weren't just going to put a Guardians of the Galaxy out in the first phase. They wouldn't have done it. It probably wouldn't have fucking did good, as good as it did, right? But they established what they had, and then they took care of it that way. So
you know what? Tease me up. Well, not tease me up. Just make me like, what? Really? They automatically say the black Superman gonna be in urban. Like all black people live in the fucking ghetto or the hood or something. That ain't true.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see that just because it's a stereotype. I don't want to see that. I want to see, listen, put them in middle America, put them on a farm. Because, hey, I'm sorry. I live out here in middle America. There are black people that own farms. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know why they would have to change it. But I think you make a good point. But I'll give you a reason why I think people use the word tokenizing more and more is because the discrepancy in how many white actors are out there to how many black actors are out there. I mean, they've talked about this for years about how, black actors don't get nominated as much as white actors. And truth be told, I would never want to be nominated by anything because I think they're all crap, the award shows, but that's my opinion. But I think when you start diversifying, what was that?
That ups your money though.
That does, yes. But diversifying movies and stuff with more black actors, ethnic actors, whatever, when they're trying to push that diversity now because it's so glaringly one direction, that becomes something where you start seeing it and you're like, oh wow, they didn't need to be, there weren't this many black movies before, so they must be tokenizing it. I think it's because we're at a point right now where they are trying to shift the output from Hollywood and other things like, the Sundance festivals and all that. They're trying to shift the output to a more inclusive group. And right now what we see is it's a lot different than it used to be. So maybe that's why people use the word tokenizing more right now, is because they think that's what's going on. And again, I go back to, I don't care if they start including more ethnic actors and different races and all that. That doesn't bother me. Always goes back to give me the good writers, give me people who know what they're talking about. And listen, back to give me a chef who knows what they're doing can put shit on a plate and somebody's going to at least try it. So writers, you give them scraps, and a good writer can come up with a freaking an Oscar-worthy movie. So, I mean, that's where I'm going with that. So,
and I'm I'm expecting Superman to be from the hood. You know what I mean? Eating fried chicken and watermelon.
I don't even want to see that shit. I don't want to see that. I swear for Lord, if he down eating watermelon and fried chicken, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
No, but I get it, man. I'm just like, yeah, as long as you stay true to the character, who fucking cares like what color he is, you know what I mean? And Danny's correct. He doesn't have to be from the hood. You know, he could be from the country. You got some country folks out there, you know what I mean? Dudes out there in Mississippi and stuff like that and shit. That's country. You know, them country dudes. I almost slipped up.
Yeah, I know you about to say. I know you about to say.
Wow.
I need one of them beat buttons, man. I gotta find one.
For real, so that I can say it, but beep it, you know. There you go.
Yeah, but they'll still hear you. It only works on my end. So.
Beep it right after I say country.
Yeah,
okay?
No. But you can't say it because
no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh.
I'm not gonna say it. But
you need a beat and a little thing.
What was that now? What were you saying, Lonzo?
But Danny's right. These guys ain't really country.
I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus.
You need that and little Ghostbuster thing over your mouth.
For real. Yeah, man, I don't care. I just want a good movie, man.
Bro, you got time? One more question?
Sure, we can do one more question. Let's do it. Why not?
Minutes, bro.
Boom. Do you think Warner Brothers is trying to hide the numbers for the Snyder Cut? Do you think they are trying to hide the numbers for the Snyder Cuts?
I will go first.
All right, let's bring the 3 minutes. Time starts right now.
Absolutely 100% they are. Guaranteed they are, because they don't want to look stupid. They already know that it's better than what they put out. They know that 100%. They know people like it a lot more than what they put out, right? So now you want to do whatever you can to keep those numbers down because the fans are 100% behind the Snyderverse, right? You've seen the tweet. It made over 1 million tweets in 24 hours, which was the most in the history. It was beat Endgame. That one tweet restored the Snyderverse. So what Warner Brothers has been seeing is that people want it, you know, and they're trying to bury it. They don't want to have nothing to do with Snyder. And I think Danny was the one that asked this question one time, like, what did Zack Snyder really fucking do to Warner Brothers? And I was like, yeah, it has to be because he wasn't a yes man. You know, he didn't want to do what they wanted him to do. He probably was argumentative. He probably fought for what he wanted. And they were like, okay, you know what? This is not what we want. So they took the opportunity and fired him when shit went bad for him. And that was a fucked up thing for them to do. A lot of people are like, well, Warner Brothers gave him the money to do the Snyder. No, it wasn't Warner Brothers. Let's get that straight. It was AT&T, because AT&T wanted HBO Max to get more subs. They're not going to tell us how many subs HBO Max got because of the Snyderverse, right? We know Wonder Woman's numbers. We know Mortal Kombat's numbers. Well, sort of. And we know Godzilla versus Kong numbers. But those numbers we don't know are the Snyderverse numbers. And I'll tell you this. I know here when it came on Crave, and there was an article that said Crave had the most subscriptions it has ever had since it was in existence because of the Snyderverse, right? So if that's like that here in Canada, imagine other places that had it on streaming services that they have in their countries, and they don't want to release those numbers. So it might be a little bit harder to get all the numbers out, but with just that and what's happening overseas, with other streaming services having spikes in their services because of the Snyder Cut, you're gonna have to believe that HBO Max got a huge spike because of that Snyder cut, but they just don't want to put it out there. There's no reason. I mean, I believe they even have articles where they're saying it didn't do as well as, it didn't do as well as Wonder Woman, it didn't do as well as this, didn't do as well as that. But they're saying that, but they're not showing it. You know what I mean? And it's just another way they're trying to put down this guy's universe. Was it the best universe? No, it wasn't. Whereas movies had issues. Some of them were good, some of them were okay. But at the end of the day, the numbers for the Zack Snyder's verse should show that it was more than what they're saying.
All right, on March 20th of 2021, just a week after launch or so, not even a week after launch, it says Zack Snyder's Justice League has already earned more than $650 million. That's what they said back in March. Now, I don't know if they're adding that to the total of their the first release or not. I don't know, but if that's true, Kong versus Godzilla is at like 300 something, or like right at 300, and it costs like 165. So they're basically at break even, which is impressive right now for things. But they put what 30 or 70 into this. AT&T put 70 towards it,
or 70, 80 range, somewhere in that.
And if this is his numbers, if 650 is his numbers,
that is crazy.
I mean,
that's like quintuple.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, and the thing is we might have to see the earnings are already at a great jump from its budget at 300 million. So I think they're just counting all the cost of it. It was US 40 million was required to complete Zack Snyder's cut, with the reshoots and footage amounting to 70 million. There are rumors circulating online that a sequel will be produced in the near future, which I don't know. Again, that's going to be AT&T all the way. All right. 3 minutes, Danny, go right ahead.
The Bible and Count Dooku says it's best that pride cometh before the fall, and WB is going to let their pride get in the way, and they're going to be bankrupt and out of business. And good old Lucasfilm or Disney, whoever you want to say, going to scoop it up, and they're going to have all the marbles. Then it's really going to be something crazy then, because there's no way that I would come on TV and say, hey, look, sorry, Zack Snyder, you were right, we were wrong. Let's go ahead and put our heads together and make this money. Because at the end of the day, it should be about making money. And if you got somebody in your camp, in your organization that has a vision, and that vision is making sense and kind of sort of on par with what Kevin Feige is doing on the other side of the street, why would you not take advantage of that? So I don't know what they're smoking. I don't know what they're drinking. I don't know what Zack Snyder has done to infuriate them so much. But there's some points when you got to pick your fights. That sometimes you got to swallow your pride. One of the judges I work with say, hey, Danny, you got your salt and pepper because I'm going to need you to eat this charge, eat this ticket. So they did get some salt and pepper and eat whatever they got going on and swallow it and go ahead and get on one accord and make this money. Because I'm telling you, man, Zack Snyder, Justice League was fire. 4 hours, I didn't blink an eye. I enjoyed it. I watched it right now 3 times. I'll probably watch it again. And I truly don't understand it. I don't understand it. This, to me, based on what I've seen from the outside looking in, this is their only real, legitimate, viable shot at trying to catch Marvel. I'm not saying try to pass them, but at least be competitive. They're not competitive. They just kind of, I hear this example a lot. They're just kind of throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it sticks. That ain't going to work. I mean, it ain't even got to be have continuity. But just make the movies good. I know you say, well, maybe it does like Marvel. No, because the Joker had nothing to do with the DCU. $1 billion movie, won Oscars. I think we're nominated multiple times. You can make good standalone movies and still be competitive. Maybe it's not their thing. Maybe they don't know how to tie stuff together. I don't know. But as long as your standalone movies are good, the people will come. They could do the same thing, like I said on the other earlier stream. They could do the same, the Elseworld Catwoman. They could do Elseworld Penguin, an Elseworld Riddler, Elseworld Deathstroke. People go see those same movies like we did with the Joker. So y'all have the formula. Y'all have, if you follow Zack Snyder, you kind of got a roadmap. You just gotta get out of your way and let him lead.
Okay. All right. Who did he piss off? I don't think he pissed off anybody. Warner Brothers did what movie studios do, and they're stupid because while certain movies didn't actually hit the mark they wanted, they came close. Batman versus Superman fell short. Man of Steel fell short. Wonder Woman surpassed the first one. Aquaman surpassed. I think Shazam surpassed what they thought, but Zack Snyder's movies didn't surpass. Now, did he sell it like they were absolutely going to make $1 billion or whatever? I don't know. If he did, that's kind of foolish on his part because you just never know exactly how something's going to be taken. But Warner Brothers had always put these numbers up, and when they don't get them, then they go stupid. And that's something Warner Brothers has done for years. I don't know if looking back on, the original Batman movies, the 4 of them that they made, I don't know if there's anything they could have done to do a soft reset to make those better and continue on with that storyline. I don't know if there was a point to continue on that storyline, but it shows that their drastic rethinking of things is constant. And then you go to this DCEU. We were given this start, which I thought was decent enough. They went to, the next one, and there was enough continuity and connection there that they should have kept going, and they just refused to do it because of a few million here or there, 100 million here and there that they didn't make, even though they were making in money that they easily were making it over the cost of the movie. Warner Brothers is its own worst enemy, and you said it, pride cometh before the fall, Danny. I don't know if Disney's going to get a hold of them. I think that with AT&T behind them, what's going to happen is there are direct people who have a problem with Zack Snyder within Warner Brothers. And if they are making the $650 million or whatever off of the Snyder cut, and AT&T goes to them and says, well, guys, look at this. You've got money here. The movie business will recover. We can go back to HBO Max. We can release it there. We can release it in the movies. We can make our money. Why aren't we doing more with him? Why aren't we letting him do some more? And they say, what are they going to tell him? Well, we just don't like him. We don't like his vision. I'm sorry. His vision's made money. They're going to fire these people at the top of Warner Brothers. They're not going to wait till they fall. They're going to fire them because these people just, listen, it's business. The first thing in business is you don't have to like me, but we should be able to agree on things. We should be able to work together. You don't have to like me, but in business, friendship shouldn't be the first thing. So, 3 minutes. Let's talk about this. I honestly think that that's what it is they put numbers on 2 of his movies that he didn't meet, and they were just unhappy. And then you do have a divide, a very big divide between fans.
And Man of Steel and Batman made money. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
This is the problem. You need to fucking stick with the course that you're dealing with, right? Not every Marvel movie was a fucking $1 billion movie. They had some good ones. They had some ones that didn't do so well, but they stuck with the course no matter what. Little adjustment here, little adjustment there, but they stuck with the course. Warner Brothers panicked. Oh no, Man of Steel didn't make $1 billion. Batman didn't make $1 billion. We gotta fucking get rid of these 2 and go start a whole new thing. You know what I mean? And it's like
your voice is killing me tonight.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't know why people don't like Man of Steel too, but I thought that movie was fire.
Man of Steel was good.
I don't understand it.
I didn't have an issue with Man of Steel at all.
I hear a lot of people criticize.
That's
Man,
not my Superman. The Superman, blah 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 blah.
hey, I know what I'm about to say. Probably gonna put me in the Phantom Zone, but I don't care. I like Henry Cavill way better than I like Christopher Reeves. I don't care. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, Chris, Phantom's on his ass, please.
You go right ahead.
Phantom's on, like
Who,
right
look,
now. Like,
who looks more like Superman?
what do you mean? Who looks more like Superman? First off, Superman wasn't always this big buff character that you see now.
The ones I read in the comic book, he always was.
Now,
that's all I'm saying.
Now, but back in the day, he wasn't big and buff.
So here's how we're going to do this.
Here we go.
I had to use that one.
Damn, he used his own fucking shit against him. He used his own shit against you, bro.
I did.
Sorry.
You know, you got to get him
Fire
on
with
Monday,
fire.
right?
Yeah, I know. That's
I
all
get
right.
him. I'm gonna go check in with his own shit.
That's right. Daddy, did you see the message?
Whoa. What the hell?
Ego check.
Let's start over, shall we?
Yeah,
Man,
that's what I thought.
that's you again.
So I was looking this up, and what it said for Man of Steel is that they were looking for the Avengers and Iron Man 3 size numbers, or like the Dark Knight. So they're looking for $1 billion or more.
Mm-hmm.
That's their problem. Anytime you make a movie, especially when it's your first into the foray of what Marvel was doing, think of Iron Man. Did they say with Iron Man, or we want $1 billion right here? Did they say that? Did Marvel say that? No, they just said, here, let's start someplace. We're going to start right here, and let's see what happens. And they went stupid because they set this number for something that was brand new. They didn't know how Marvel or how the people were going to handle Cavill. They didn't know how people were going to like Zack Snyder's. And again, there was a lot of divide on what people thought about what he looked like. It was a little dark, whatever. I didn't have an issue with it, though.
Mm-hmm. Me neither. I liked the darkness. I didn't want to see the same Marvel formula over and over again. You know what I mean? I wanted to see something different. So they went darker. They went more grittier. Yeah, more grittier. And I was absolutely fine with that. 100%.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've said it, though, for years now about Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers wants what Harry Potter did, but they don't want to do what it took to get Harry Potter where it was. Think about the first Harry Potter movie. They cut back on their special effects. They used small set pieces until they got to the castle. They put their money where they needed to put it, but it was not that huge of a budget of movie. When you go back and watch the first Harry Potter, you're like, holy crap. And as they went along, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And they put more money and more money behind it. Why? Because it gained steam.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do that with the DCEU. What does that come back to? That comes back to the people behind it. It always comes back to the people behind it. And most of the time, what we're hearing in these articles and stuff is that it's the front office of Warner Brothers that has a personal vendetta against the Snyderverse and these movies that are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, they've made me money. The first actual 100% guaranteed fail they had was Wonder Woman 84. And you could blame that on COVID. I'm sorry. You could blame that on COVID because we don't know if nothing was going on. We don't know how that would have done in the movie theater.
You're correct. I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, anything else, guys?
I agree with that, but I don't think it'll make $1 billion movie though.
I don't think it would have made $1 billion either, but I think
It would not have made what the first one did.
600 to 800 million. I could see that.
I can't see that. I think it'd be lucky to get 5.
No, I would have gone more.
Oh, okay. Even at 5, what is that? That was what, Thor: The Dark World, or was that Thor, the first Thor?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, you're putting up numbers that aren't bad. They want Marvel numbers now, and you can't do that.
That ain't gonna happen.
No, because Marvel took years to get there.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to work for it, and I think Zack Snyder was very well aware that I almost wonder if Justice League was not a calamity of errors because of Warner Brothers more than it was Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder wanted to go Man of Steel, BVS. I don't even know if he wanted to do BVS. I've heard some things now tell me that he wanted to do a Batman movie with Ben Affleck. Then he wanted to go back and do, after Shazam and Aquaman, he wanted to do Man of Steel 2 to build into that. Then he wanted to do a Batman versus Superman. Then he wanted to get to a 2-part Justice League movie. And if that was the case, that probably would have worked better than what happened. They were rushing those movies out. And I think, again, top dogs, they all need to be fired.
I agree.
If I'm AT&T, if I'm in charge of this whole thing, even if they're if I'm just a parent company, if I'm Disney and Kevin Feige starts fucking up, well, it's Kevin Feige's fault. It should be the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy. That's not happening. But we're talking, yeah, I don't know. I weep for the fact that Warner Brothers has yet to figure out how to handle DC, at least in the movie.
And I'm also gonna say this. I completely forgot. They have Flashpoint. Flashpoint is a starting point for everything else. So you have good actors. You have Henry Cavill, you have Gal Gadot, you have Jason Momoa. You know what I mean? You can do Flashpoint and erase everything that was the Snyderverse and do it the way you want it with those same characters because they were good in their roles. So I just don't know what they're doing, man. I really have no idea, man.
That goes back to admitting that Zack Snyder might have been at least partially right, because you're bringing in people that go in his universe and they don't want to do that at all. I don't think we're getting a Flashpoint movie. The only hope that anybody has with anything that is tied into anything Zack Snyder did was AT&T. Yes. AT&T is going to have to put their foot down and say, guess what, guys? We want money. And you aren't doing it. If this Batman movie fails miserably, 300 million only, I think that they say
they're going to run back to Zack Snyder.
Please, you know what I mean? Please help us. No,
not just Batman, but if you get like 3 failures in a row, right? Now we all know Wonder Woman. We don't know what it would have done, right? But right now it's a failure. So you go Wonder Woman, then you have the Batman, and then let's say it's the Black Superman that comes out. Those 3 movies flop.
Somehow I don't think Batman gonna flop. I could be
a Batman movie.
I don't think it's gonna flop either. But will it reach their standards? That's the question.
Yeah,
you know
I think if it's able to make it to the theaters, it's gonna do well because he's gonna get I don't know this, but I know at one time he used to be like a heartthrob, so he might get that female thirstiness. So I don't know.
If he actually has some muscles,
yeah, he might buff up. I don't know why he's doing that. They probably gonna get that little buffed up looking suit. I hate that shit. Like that's just shit.
Do you think Warner Brothers is going to be stupid enough, since this is kind of an Elseworlds off from the other stuff? Do you think they're going to be stupid enough to put a number like $1 billion on this, thinking they're going to get it?
No, that's stupid if they do that. What they should do is tie this Batman to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. That's what I would do.
And that's what I think they should do.
I think they should do that too.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's go around. Anzo, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself one time.
Yes, sir. You guys know Biggaford Entertainment. Make sure you check us out later on Storms Live on Danny's channel. We will be doing this shit on our own because Robert will not be there tonight, but he gave us enough faith to hold down his show, so we're gonna do it like we supposed to do. Make sure you guys check that out. Other than that, great show, Chris.
Awesome. Danny, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
Yeah, fantastic show. I love this show. Like Ozzo said, we're gonna be doing Rob Storms tonight, host on my channel, about 10:30, 10:45, somewhere in that time frame. I watch half of the Bad Batch. I gotta hurry up, jump off, and watch the rest of it. Make sure that my notes and stuff is fresh. Hey man, it's been a busy day today, bro. A busy day.
I watched about half of it too, so I gotta go finish it.
I'm gonna finish that up. But please come by. We're gonna start, like I said, sometime between 10:30 and 10:45. It could be me, Anzo, Josh, maybe Gaiskar if he's done whining and dining his wife. But if not, the three of us is gonna go ahead and knock it out. Please come by. Please share the link. It's gonna be, like I said, on my channel here in about another 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Don't miss it, bro. Don't miss it.
All right. That's it, guys. I'm Chris Knight. The Real Review 3000 is my channel. Please check that out. Also, if you haven't subbed yet, please look down there. If it has a big red box that says subscribe, click that button. Make sure you tell people about Chaos Central. And with that said, guys, peace.
Peace.